Hi there, my name is Jennifer with Aqua Mood. Welcome to another series of Spirit's Wheel. For this particular session, I wanted to do a reading and clearing on karmic relationships, romantic relationships. So I will get into what I mean by that in a little bit, but first I want to decide, or let the little wheel decide, who this reading is going to be for. So that should be lined up right there. And let's see who this reading is for. Sagittarius. All right, so this reading is going to be for Sun, Moon, Rising for Sagittarius, and I think it is Sagittarius season. Is that today or very, very recently? So I'm very excited for you guys. Okay, let me get that laptop out of the way. All right, so for those of you that are new to this type of reading, this is going to be a two-part reading. It's going to be part like tarot oracle card reading, and then the second part is going to be energy clearing. So depending on what comes up in the reading is where we'll do the energy work, because it's not enough just to understand things with the thinking mind. Energetically letting go makes a big shift too. So let's talk about what I meant by karmic relationship. By this, I mean a relationship that has been a catalyst for great change. And I think you will know if that resonates with you. I was very hesitant to do this clearing because I know there's a lot of labels out there like soulmates or karmics or twin flames. And so I didn't want it to get too convoluted with the definition. So for this reading and for this purpose alone, I'm defining it or describing it as a relationship that has been a catalyst for great change. The intention of this reading is not to determine the outcome of your relationship or your connection. It's more to give you insight of kind of like past life dynamics that might still be at play, what you've needed to learn, checking in to see if you have learned these lessons, and then moving into the energy clearing part that you might be ready to release. Again, any energy clearing we do is not to dictate any type of connection or outcome or result. This is just us being very responsible for your energy and your part and your thoughts, and you understanding how you are showing up within this dynamic. We're not looking to control their side, their opinions, their energy, nothing to do, but because I am looking at a two-person connection, we will be looking at their energy as well. Okay, so I think we are good to get started on the reading portion of it, and then once we are complete with that, I'll explain how the energy clearing is going to go. And again, for those of you that are new, I've already pre-shuffled and meditated with all the decks so that we can get started right away. All right. So this is going to be your side of the reading, their side of the reading, and this is going to be the link or the mutual connection. Okay. I'm like, all right, Sagittarius, your energetic lessons, I will say, that have to do with this connection is Daughter of Cups. And so Daughter of Cups is, I'm talking to a Sagittarius, it is talking about you learning to be in touch with your emotions. It is talking about how in a past life you only might have reached a very small amount of emotional maturity. In a past life, you might not have fully grasped what emotional depth means, what emotional connection means. In a past life, you might have not been open to healing, emotional healing, spirituality. And if you were, it was like you only dipped your toe like very, very gently. So imagine being a very much more older person and you just never really reached that level of emotional maturity. You never really saw the value, the importance of it. And so, if this has been your upbringing, if these have been any blocks, if these have been any challenges, it is stemming from past life dynamics that you didn't quite learn and that you are here to learn now and that you are learning within this dynamic. This person or the person that you've been working with is the Empress energy. They might have been a little bit they might have been a caretaker. They might have been a wise person. They might have been a medicine woman or man. These energies are fluid. They might have always been mothering others. I keep getting, they might have always been caring for others. They might have always been putting others first. And this might be energy that has bled over into this current life. And so they might be learning to, my codependency is coming up, but they might be learning how to put themselves first, how to navigate a space without caretaking. They might have learned that the only way to express love is through caretaking. I'm also getting that the roles might be reversed. Even though I'm reading this one is you and this is them, if you resonate with one story more than the other, just kind of go with it. Use your intuition on this one. So you have 3 of coins coming up as like the karmic link that ties you together. You guys might have worked together. You guys might have been starting a family together. You guys might have been working on a project together. But this is ultimately a energy of building together. It's an energy of building something lasting. It's an energy of working with others. Like there's no room for independence in this 3 of discs. It's like having to learn the lesson of teamwork. While this energy might be a type of independent that's like, I can do it on my own, this energy is more of doing it on my own might mean caring for others. But it's like, can you come, or can these 2 energies come together to create something bigger than yourselves? It's like, can you Can you manage to not lose your identity, manage to not lose like who you are, and still allow yourself to depend on others, to count on others, to work with others? And when we're talking about building, this could be building anything, building a career, building a life, building um, um, I'm getting like a business for some of you, anything that is long lasting. If you look at this brick wall, like how much more difficult would it be for one person to build this on their own? I'm also getting that why would you even want to build anything when it requires depending on other people? So let's pull some tarot to get clarity on all these energies. Again, depending which one you resonate, Sagittarius, you could be resonating with like the more like mature, grounded, wise energy, or you could be resonating with like this more like youthful, not calling you old, just like this person who emotional maturity has been very difficult for, emotional expression has been very difficult for. So for this side of the card, I'm getting that you might even perceive the right side Empress energy is almost boring because it's so foreign, it's so alien. And this Empress energy, it might perceive this Daughter of Cups energy as just, I would say, immature or irresponsible. And so when you have these two energies, learning about building, learning about creating, learning about dependability and reliability and counting on others, it's a little hairy. It's a little conflicted. So these three cards up here are kind of looking at, and again, these are past life energies that are bleeding over until now. So these energies are more looking at how you guys are connecting now. All right, so this connection is talking about self-mastery. Self-mastery of your emotions, self-mastery of what it means to truly be in Empress energy, of what it really means to be creative and to be nurturing or caring or loving without putting yourself last. And this Daughter of Cups energy here on the left is more about taking the time to actually think of others. So you have the World card, and the World card, as I mentioned, it's talking about self-mastery, having to call this relationship in, or having to have gone or going through, regardless of where you are, so that you can level up, so that you can clearly see your blind spots. And I'm getting chills for this one, so that you can embrace transformation, so that you can be guided and led to your own unfolding. So this connection has been a catalyst for your personal growth, transformation, development, self-mastery, learning what it truly means to be at peace and centered and anchored within your own world, not coming from a space of control. And so this connection, or for some of you, the disconnection, pushed you guys into this Five of Swords energy, where it did bring out the ugly in both. It brought the betrayal, the heartache, the someone might have walked away from this connection. It might have happened multiple times, but nonetheless, it was fighting. It was hurtful, and it opened up a lot of old wounds that were meant to be cleared, cleansed, released. But you have to remember that these old wounds are patterns that were already there to begin with before you even met. This connection simply brought it to the light. However, despite becoming aware and experiencing any hardship, you do have Six of Cups coming up. And so I always read the Six of Cups energy multiple ways. To me, this is talking about you having to rescue your inner child. So I always see this as you now, and I always see this as your inner child, and you having to go back and bring love to that situation, bring nurturing to that situation, bring light. So some of you guys might have been working on a lot of childhood dynamics. Some of you guys might be working on inner child work. If you haven't started yet, this is where you're being guided and led to work on. But this is also an energy of being in balance. Of being in balance of give and take. So if you look more closely, it's like, is the little girl giving to her, or is the adult giving to the little girl? And it could be both, right? So this is getting you to be in a space where you have learned to give and take. And this is for both of you. This means learning to, if one person is more of a giver and the other person's more of a taker, understanding the harm in those dynamics, or understanding why you are even in those dynamics. If you are a taker, I will say, or someone that's constantly needing for someone to give to them, it's why is there the dependability on something outside of you to give to you? If you are constantly giving, or only know how to give, it's why is there the need for you to always pour out, even past the point of where you have nothing to give? There could have been a very giving energy where one person wanted to give more and the other person got too scared, or maybe even ran away. But this is ultimately, again, talking about coming into balance of being in equal give and take dynamics. Equal give and take within yourself, equal give and take with romantic partnerships, equal give and take in work relationships, equal give and take in family relationships, equal give and take in your day-to-day. and really understanding the depth of what this means and what this looks like, really understanding where either party learned to engage in this imbalance of give and take. So you might be at the Five of Swords energy where you're still experiencing heartache or recovery or healing, or you might be in the Six of Cups energy where you're still working out these energies, or you could be at the very beginning where you are becoming aware and enlightened to everything that you need to work through and address. Let's pull a little bit more tarot. So we're going to look a little bit more deeply into the connection and the energies that are influencing you both. Queen of Wands and Knight of Swords. So for this Daughter of Cups energy on the left, some of the big lessons that have come from this dynamic, or some of the big lessons that need to be learned, is learning impulsivity, learning being rash, learning I should say the effects of being rash or impulsive, or maybe learning the negative effects of running away from your emotions, running away from your connections, running away from stability, running away from wanting to build. But it's coming from a place of comfort. It's coming from like, I keep getting like boring. Like, this looks so boring, wanting to build, wanting to create. But it's more the underlying messages of not so much boring. It's about putting yourself in a vulnerable enough space to rely on others, to depend on others, to count on others. Maybe in your actual home, you've learned that depending or counting on others doesn't always pay off, or it can be hurtful to count on others. Why would you want to go there? One of the big lessons has been, or is, stepping into this Queen of Wands energy. So while in the past life there's what's the word I'm looking for? It's not frivolous. I'm just gonna say immature, or lacking passion, almost like lacking depth of like past life energies. There's Queen of Wands coming up, and this is talking about stepping into this energy that is both like creative, that is centered, that's in charge, that's intuitive, very powerful, that is that has a grip of their emotions, that's not afraid to embody the fullness expression of being a fire sign. There's also Eagle Spirit in this card. Some of you guys might be healers. Others of you, this is talking about opening yourself up to allowing guidance from spirit, opening yourself up to allowing guidance from spirit guides. And this is a very different energy from being afraid of your emotions, where you're more, I don't want to say childish, but I'm not going to say words. But it's a big leap in shifts. You're growing from like a Cups energy to a Queen of Wands energy, going from a child to a queen. And this is almost like this connection has been the fast forward button to let's hurry up and get you here. And it has come from being exposed to the difficulty and the heartache. And again, this is a self-mastery lesson. Aww. This person has Queen of Swords energy. And this to me is talking about having them, the lessons that they're learning, the themes that are coming up for them is learning to stand in their power, learning to accept change, learning to speak your truth, learning to allow transformation to come in, learning what it means to take care of yourself, to put yourself first. It's very interesting that you both have polar queens. It's like fire and air signs. That's why I said I'm getting, this is a Sagittarius, but again, take it as it resonates. Like learning to be logical, learning to be rational, learning to be level-headed, learning to be clear with your words, what you mean, saying what you mean. This side could have some manipulative tendencies. This could be some old Taurus placements as well. A lot of like, say what you mean. Allowing yourself or himself, themselves to say what they mean. While I feel like this card on the left, or this person on the left, is more about like emotional maturity, learning to grapple with your own emotions. This card is learning to grapple like on an intellectual level. Learning to be able to keep your cool in spite of the depth of emotions that might be coming in, because there's 5 of Cups coming up for you. And so, or them, I'm gonna say them. I keep bouncing back and forth only because I feel like it's very similar, it's very mirrored, like you can see each other in this reading. But for this person, 5 of Cups is a big lesson. Learning to manage sadness, learning to manage disappointment, learning to manage disillusion, learning to grow past like bumps in the road. It's like being so stuck again on the 3 cups that spilled that you can't even see the magic or the possibility or the opportunity that's outside of you. And she has 2 cups available to her. You only really need 1, but you're not open, or they're not open to even look at it because they've been so stuck on on the sadness of this energy. And it doesn't have to be exclusive to this partnership. This is just how you navigate life, how they navigate life. It's like something doesn't work out, or something gets broken or lost, and it creates this whole like this emotional spin, out of control, feeling so deeply, feeling so emotionally overwhelmed. So while this person has had to learn to not let their emotions completely take over and run the show, this person is learning to not let to let emotion in, to not run away scared, because it is a scared energy when you just run, because it's an inability to cope. So again, you guys might be mirroring each other. And then it's like when you take this energy and you want to build, or you want to create, even if it's just to create for yourself, this person on the right side, when it comes to create, they might be, or you might be afraid of wanting to, because it's like, well, am I going to have to do everything alone? Am I going to have to pull all the weight? Is all the responsibilities going to fall on me? Why would I want to go and engage in that if it's going to be a solo job? And on the left side, and for you guys, I'm getting, it's why would I want to engage again? I'm getting just boring. Like, this does not look fun. When I can just be playing in this little water pool, twiddling my thumbs, but not really experiencing a grounded energy, a safe energy. Being able to engage with something that's more long-lasting. This could be a home. And again, the dynamics from which this tension stems from goes back to family. So let's look at one card for how to make the most of this dynamic at this time. And it says deep replenishment, and it says retreat, rest, be held. So this is talking about you having to learn to fill your own cup. It's talking about knowing what nourishes your spirit. It's talking about having tools, accesses, go-tos that replenish you, that replenish your soul, that replenish your spirit. It's like, do you know what those things are? Can you tap into them on a weekly basis to continuously nourish your soul? Or do you run away from it? Or do you worry about everybody else? Yeah, these are energies that are applicable to both. Learning to retreat. And by retreat, I mean when it comes to going to a space to self-soothe, not run away. Learning to rest, understanding your needs. Allowing yourself to be held by spirit. Allowing yourself to be held by your family. Allowing yourself to be held by friends. And if you were coming from a space where you were nourishing your soul every week, multiple times a week, would you really be feeling the sadness? Would you really be feeling the need to run? So to not overuse self-care, but this is a lesson in self-care. It's a lesson in self-love. It's a lesson in learning your own needs. That way, when you do engage with others, whether within or outside of this connection, and just in life in general, you are able to communicate what your needs are instead of waiting for someone to tell you what your needs are. It's something that you've learned for yourself. And because this is coming up as a lesson, it's probably not something that was cared for and tended to as a child. Like maybe your parents weren't looking or never asked or cared to think about, like, what are your needs? Some of you guys might have been child parents where you're more responsible for your parents' emotional needs. And on the flip side, it's talking about there was no emotional need filled. There was a shallowness. There wasn't like a whole lot of needs being met. And so in the face of those energies, it can trigger wounds. It's almost like, imagine putting like medicine on an open cut, and it can cause a stinging, burning feeling, and yeah, that's going to make you want to run away. And so this is a lesson in having to retreat and learn to heal yourself, soothe yourself, nourish yourself, free yourself. Freeing yourself from fear, freeing yourself from sadness. This goes both ways. Now we're going to look at what you can learn from each other. So this card is talking about what you can learn from them. And this is Ace of Cups, and this is talking about learning self-love, learning new definitions of love, learning to fill your own cup, opening yourself up to spirituality, opening yourself up to the idea of being spiritually guided, opening yourself up to a whole new beginning with how you look at yourself, how you treat yourself, how you talk to yourself, how you perceive yourself. This is a big lesson in accepting emotions, understanding feelings. And I think for those of you that might be confused, if I do have Sagittarius on this side, let's say you touch a hot stove, right, and you get burned. There was the feeling in your hand, in your body, of the burn sensation, but it was your emotion that could have created fear looking back to it. So maybe you could feel fear, hesitation, cautious, anxiousness when it comes to thinking back to that event or memory. And oftentimes when there is a situation that impacts us very heavily, we don't have the words or the understanding to describe the feeling that has happened there. So to even think about that situation or that event would trigger you to kind of want to run away, because there's just no tools. Like how would you know? And I'm using a very common example that has happened to most of us. But if we're looking at heavier family dynamics, well, then that's a little bit more difficult to navigate. But again, that's being brought to the front to look at, to self-master, so that you're not operating from this space of not being able to cope. What this other person is learning is Four of Pentacles, and that is the act of surrendering, of letting go, of stubborn energy, right? What is it that you gain from clinging, from holding, like death gripping to? Is holding on to that sadness, feeding your soul, is holding on to this dynamic, feeding your soul, holding on to the resentment, feeding your soul, holding on to the past. Can you allow yourself, themselves, to let go, to surrender, to trust in something or rely on others? Even if these others might be spirit guides, even if these others might be spirit. There's a big lesson in stubbornness, and again, I'm picking up on like Taurus placement energies. And just clinging. And again, there's a lot of fear that is in place when there's clinging. While one person is so quick to run away and leave, another person doesn't know how to do that. Doesn't know when it's time to let go. Doesn't know when it's time to open yourself up to new. Again, there's a lot of personal transformation energy coming from the right side. And And sometimes this brings up fear, like, who would I be if I weren't a caretaker? Who would I be if I weren't so giving? Who would I be if I weren't like always mothering others or caring for others? How would things get done if I don't do them myself? Completely one rigid way of thinking, of being, but it is also self-imposed. Who would you be? Who would they be? Would be her. And she's in her power and she welcomes transformation, and there's expansiveness and there's beauty. She has wings. She can fly too. She can go. She can stay if she wants to. There's truth, clarity, being able to speak your truth. This, no, not so much. So again, this is what this right side person is learning from the person on the left. While they can be so quick to go, leave, cut out, how? This might be a total like puzzle. How can someone function that way? It's lessons in letting go. All right, we're gonna pull 3 more cards of lessons and things to surrender for each of you and within the connection. Alright, one thing that you need to learn and work on, Sagittarius, is learning to surrender worry. And it says, make a commitment not to lead an anxiety-driven life. When worries arise, breathe and let them out of your body. Focus on the power of your heart and have faith that spirit is always guiding you. Again, some of you guys might be learning or working on treating your anxiety, having anxiety that gets triggered, which makes you want to run away in difficult situations. Again, we're talking about that emotional overwhelm that gets activated that makes you want to run away. Might be time for you guys to seek a little bit more help for treating and understanding the roots of this anxiety. Also learning to master your thoughts. Not always going to worst case scenarios, worst case dynamics. And it's learning to become very anchored and centered in your body, learning to become very grounded. Something that this person is a little bit too familiar with. Learning to live a heart-driven life, learning to live a life guided by spirit. Again, there's this energy of like having to have done things on your own, having to have navigated things on your own. But it's like, have you tried letting spirit help you, letting your spirit guides guide you? It's a completely different area to operate from a space of intuition and faith versus this fight or flight mode, survival mode, where if you don't like run, like you won't be safe. And learning what it means to live from the heart. Learning to divest from the thinking mind and being way more in the heart space. And this shows up as worrying. This person is releasing surrender. Your need to always be right. Again, I'm picking up on such a stubborn energy, such a fixed energy, such a rigid energy. Give others the gift of letting them be right. Be yielding, not rigid. This will help resolve conflicts and improve your relationships. This is coming from a space of not putting themselves in another person's shoe. Them not being in a space to look at things from another side. It's always like, I know best and I know what's right, but that's coming from a space of control. Why have they been rigid? Why are they so stuck? Why are they so unwavering? Again, it's coming from this space of like always having to do it on my own, no one ever having had my back. They're almost like warped notions of independence. It might even be like admitting that you're wrong, not being comfortable with the idea that you're wrong, admitting that you've made a mistake, admitting that they're not perfect. Because there might be so much pressure that they operate to be this perfect person, to pretend to have it all together. So always having to do the right calculated step to avoid failure. But then this connection brings an overwhelming amount of sadness, and it triggers sadness across the board in different areas of their life where you have to look at it. And then you have to really look at the person that you've been. Center lesson that this connection is teaching you both. It's to surrender to the wisdom of your body. Listen to your body's messages about a person or situation. If you feel physically drained or uncomfortable, be cautious. If you are energized and happy, move forward. This is about bringing you, again, this is a lesson for both, but this is about bringing you back in tune to your body, back where it feels safe, away from anxiety, where it feels safe and spaciousness, not stuck, not heavy, but much more lighter, much more free. Right? To a certain degree, there is the envy of the flightiness that this person has, and this person could feel like an envy, not only like envy, just like, I wish I had that groundedness. But they're very two different wounds that are bringing out like what you like wishing that you had what they had, but it's also causing pain within the dynamic. So this is talking about bringing you back to your own energy. It's talking about bringing you back to your own body. Both of you might be very intuitive. Both of you might be empaths. But this is, again, a very deep lesson on rebuilding your connection and relationship with your physical body. You might have rejected your body, you might have experienced illness, you might have experienced all kinds of physical harm, wounds, that is still very much in your body, and reconnecting to your physical body has been one of the hardest lessons from this dynamic. And it is ultimately a kindling, a self-mastery of trusting your intuition. And when we are operating from a space of trusting our intuition more than trusting the thinking mind, that is a long, long road. So if it's been difficult, if it has been this catalyst for change, if it has pushed you and opened up very deep wounds, well, it's to get you to operate from a different space. It's to get you to be more kind to your physical body. It's to get you to be more in tune with yourself, not so much, again, I'm talking to the empath here, not so much in the energy and feelings of others, but very much within your own. It's like, why are you so in a rush to tune into the feelings of others? What's wrong with your own feelings and your own body? Feeling at home within yourself. This might be very difficult for you to learn. Alright, we're going to pull 2 cards to bring more guidance for how to make the most of this dynamic. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. I can't. There is a message in clairsentience, and it is Archangel Raguel, and it says, notice your recurring physical and emotional feelings as they signify divine guidance. Oh my God. Again, this is an upgrade in clairsentience. We've talked about the wisdom of your body. We've talked about this connection being a lesson in mastering emotions and feelings, stubbornness, sadness, navigating these. Again, there's a very strong mirroring image or mirroring connection. There is Counselor, Archangel Azrael. It says you are a natural counselor and many people benefit from your guidance and reassurance. Yes, some of you guys might be pursuing careers in counseling. Some of you guys might just be, again, empaths, people that people go to for advice. This is also talking to me, you being this person in blue and allowing yourself to receive guidance, counseling from your own spirit guides, from spirit, allowing yourself to be that open, allowing the input of others, right? There's almost a stubbornness on both sides of not wanting to hear something but their own thinking mind, or not wanting to hear something different besides the pains of the past. And so again, this is a very mutual energy, and it's getting mirrored again and again, especially as a healing connection with your intuitive side, with your body, with caring for yourself, with coming back into balance, with being giving and or taking, allowing yourself to see things differently. All right. Well, this reading feels pretty complete to me to understand like the broad strokes of this dynamic. So now I would like to move into the healing portion or the energy clearing portion of this connection. And so I'm going to focus it on letting go of stubbornness, letting go of any past hurts, letting go of any past wounds. I'm also going to invite you to set your own intention for what you want to release. I'm going to make sure to make space to release, let go, cleanse, transmute, whatever those lingering energies are that you might still be holding on to. If you are open to releasing worry, then go ahead and do that. I'll be sure to address it. But again, because this is a one-sided conversation right now, I'm kind of just covering all my bases. And it'll probably take me about 20 to 30 minutes to do this energy clearing. What else do I want to focus on for this reading? Letting go of past pain, letting go of past hurt, letting go of resentment, letting go. I'm like, let me write this down actually. Letting go of that sadness. Allowing yourself again to release any past hurts dynamic, especially when I gave that analogy of like the burning yourself on the stove. If there is a specific event that triggers you that you still go to, letting that go, letting go of self-judgment, letting go of self-judgments to your body, letting go of just not knowing any different, letting go of any like dynamics that you might have learned in childhood. If you are ready to let that go, I invite you to surrender that, to set the intention within yourself to release, cleanse, clear, let go. Again, because this is a much more complicated connection, a one-time clearing might not release everything, but it does begin to open up. Like if you've learned the lesson, if you understand, if you get at least certain parts, even if you're just here where you are in the hurt and the pain and you're ready to let that go, then this is where we meet. You can always come back and watch this later and set a different intention to cleanse, clear, release, let go. Again, this is being very respectful of where you are, of what you're ready to let go of. This has nothing to do with the outcome of this partnership or dynamic. This is more us being in a space of clearing our own energy that we are ready to let go of. We're ready to be a little less stubborn, if we're willing to open up to the guidance of spirit, if we're willing to allow ourselves to be connected with our body a little bit more, then this is where we meet. All right, so let's see. To get us ready for this energy clearing, I invite you to sit either in a comfortable space or lay down in a comfortable space. This is again going to take me about 20 to 30 minutes in time. So you can either pause this and go get comfortable, but I think I'm ready to keep going. So I also invite your benevolent spirit guides to join us in helping us hold space for you. And you can invite any spirit guides, guardian angels, ancestors in healed spaces that you would like to help you hold space in clearing, releasing any and all of this energy at this time. So again, for those of you that are new, you don't need to do anything. I'm going to start the music and then I'll turn the music off once I am complete. So go ahead and take 3 big deep breaths for me. Take another big deep breath. And take one more big deep breath right there. And start the music. deep breath right there. And take another deep breath. And give yourself a stretch, wiggling your toes and fingers. Opening your eyes if they're not open yet. Okay. I only have a little bit of messages for you guys that came through the session. And one of them was the wound of neglect. Having experienced neglect as a child is how these energies are being played out. So another thing that I worked on a lot was clearing the pathway between your throat and your heart space area to kind of bring more harmony between that thinking mind and being able to speak and communicate your needs, and also being connected to your heart so that you know what your needs are, and also so that you can get more in touch with being connected to your body, not just so much purely in the mind space. It's not always mind over body, right? Your whole being, your mind, body, and spirit. And so I worked on that as well. There's more I wanted to say on neglect, but maybe it'll come back to me. I did get messages on this is also a lesson on trust, learning to trust yourself, learning to trust something higher than yourself so that you can then turn and know when it's safe to trust others. So this has also been a lesson in trust, or is an ongoing lesson in trust. What did I say about neglect? Oh, for this side, messages on neglect were coming through as if you did experience neglect on the Empress side. It's almost like having to care for others, or putting yourself in a space of caring for others ensured that you would allow yourself, or that ensured that you would be seen. It's almost like, well, if I'm needed, if I'm caring for others, then I'm seen, and therefore I don't feel so neglected. And so for the person on this side, they might have felt neglect as well. And it's not being done necessarily like maliciously, like maybe there were parents that were too busy working, or whatever was going on, but they might have experienced a form of neglect to where neglect seems normal to you. Being ignored seems normal to you. So if you are feeling, or you do get any type of compassion, it might feel strange because that neglect wound is being activated, or has been activated. What else do I have? The trusting yourself. I also got the message to have you guys maybe install like an affirmations app to help you with having more positive thoughts towards yourself, towards your health, towards your body, towards your healing path. And also to remember that you guys are sign of Sagittarius, that you guys are very lucky people. So to expect yourself to heal and transcend from all the wounds that are coming up, to expect a lucky break, to expect things to go your way, to expect yourself to succeed, to self-master, to elevate yourself. And last thing, to close out this reading and session, you guys have a homework assignment, and I want you to write a letter of everything that you chose, or your intention of what you chose to release and let go, for this session, any gratitude that you might feel for what you've already learned and experienced, only if it's authentic. Don't force it. And then burn and release that letter. And this is just a way to kind of get your subconscious mind, like your thinking brain, of acknowledging that there was a form of letting go, that there was a form of release. So the clearing has been done. This is just kind of like you putting a bow on top so that you are fully in alignment and awareness of what you set the intention to let go of. Again, if you didn't feel anything during the session, that is perfectly normal. It doesn't mean it didn't work. It doesn't mean nothing happened. These are distant sessions, so there's so much more etherically happening than just what you are able to feel. Let me see, any last words I need to say before I close out the session? Not that I can think of. So I'm gonna leave it right there, Sagittarius. Again, I hope these messages were able to bring you some clarity or some reassurance of what you've been needing to learn or go through or work through when it comes to this connection. And again, you are welcome to revisit the healing portion again, or visit this at a different time in case you're ready to let more go. So yeah, all right guys, let me know, comment, like, subscribe if this resonated with you, if you felt anything or if anything came through for you, what your intentions are for letting go and releasing. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed this session, and we will see you guys around. All right, bye.